Hey, folks, I'm Julie Chase. I'm with Mary Mancini. You're the chairman of the Tennessee State Democratic Party at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tennessee Democratic Party.
You've been out there. Let's ask the question. What are the chances for the state Democratic candidates this year?
It's pretty great. So we're in a situation where Republicans have had control of the state legislature, and they've been in control in Washington. And the reality is that nothing is getting done for regular working people. And so, for the first time in a long time, voters are open to hearing the Democratic Party message and hearing from Democrats. And so, our job is to go out and meet them where they are, listen to them, talk to them about what their priorities are. Talk to them about our infrastructure problems, our healthcare issues, our education issues, and really sort of earn their vote. And so, between our candidates doing that and all of our candidates having the reputations of actually getting things done and making government work for people, we're in a really good position, and we're really happy. But again, we have to earn it, and we know that.
Okay, one of the gubernatorial candidates, Mr. Fitzy over there, has said the secret weapon for Tennessee Democrats this year is a gentleman by the name of Donald Trump. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think in a way, right? So Donald Trump was elected because he, people looked at him and they thought, well, here's a businessman and here's someone who can get things done, and nothing's happening in Washington, and there's a lot of gridlock, and but with every passing day, what people are seeing, a lot of the people that voted for him, is that again, nothing's getting done, and everything that he does do, it kind of ends up backfiring, right? Not really helping people. So, for instance, the tariffs were implemented without him consulting very many economists, and now taxpayers are on the hook for $12 billion to help our farmers, who wouldn't have been in this situation if the tariff war hadn't been started, right? So it's those kinds of things. Again, I think people had different expectations for him, and he's just not coming through. And so yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, to be very honest with you, I've been hanging out with some interesting friends over the last 6 months. They call themselves progressives, and I think they are. How do you feel about the progressive movements and what they stand for these days?
Well, I think that we're not that far apart, right? And again, when folks on our side put ourselves in those different boxes, right? Moderate, progressive, I've even heard conservative Democrat. It divides us instead of uniting us. And so what I like to look at instead is, every Democrat that I know and everybody on the left that I know believes that everyone should have access to health care, right? Everyone should be able to take their kid to the doctor when they're sick. Everybody should have a hospital close by. So God forbid, their parent or they have a heart attack, right? They don't have to drive 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So if we could start from that position where we agree with our basic values on healthcare, then the policy will come, right? So then we could get elected, and then we could start talking about, well, what's the best policy, right? Is it to fix Obamacare? Because we know the ACA needs to be fixed, right? Or is it to push for single payer, right? So I just say that let's agree on what our basic values are, and we all have the same values, right? That everybody in Tennessee and in this country and in the world, frankly, no matter who you are or what you look like, right, or where you live, should have the opportunity for a better life for yourself and your family.
Let me put you on the spot for just 1 second here. There are a couple of progressive candidates out there, and maybe one might go ahead and get through the primary and get into the state election cycle. If a progressive candidate, a real left progressive candidate, gets past the primary, will the state party back that person?
Oh my gosh, of course. Okay. Again, our values are the same, right? Our values are that everybody, no matter who you are, what you look like, where you live, who you love, right? How you identify yourself. Everybody should have the opportunity for a better life. And the only thing I expect from our Democratic candidates is that they have the back of all Tennesseans, and that they're making sure that government works for everyone. And again, we can all agree on that, no matter who you are. But let's face it, we're all Democrats, right? We're all trying to make government work for regular folks to just have, so people can have a better life. So, yeah.
One more question for you. Back in the day, I know. I remember you used to host a podcast called Liberal Radio, and you used to be...
O'Connell. Councilman Freddie O'Connell.
Used to be good friends, I believe, a gentleman by the name of Teddy Bart. Can you tell us a Teddy Bart story?
Oh, so I could just tell you how I met Teddy and how Teddy and Carlin really instilled in me that words matter, right? And they were the first persons to do that. So I actually met them because I was working for a company that did websites and internet service provider, and that's.
Would you believe I remember that? That was a long time ago.
A long time ago, and then they heard about Liberadio and they listened, and then. Carlin, I think, called me and she's like, "Oh my God, will you be on the roundtable?" And I was like, "Okay." And so they really, I think I have to thank Teddy and Carlin for sort of launching me more into the spotlight as someone who has opinions about everything, about policy, someone who's an activist. There's some people in your life that act as your fairy godparents, and I would say that Teddy and Carlin are definitely there. And I miss Teddy, and I talk to Carlin every once in a while. But one more thing, if I can.
Absolutely.
We really need that kind of dialogue in Tennessee again.
So
what they did was so special because they brought people from both sides, and then they were the voice of reason, and kind of we had real substantial conversations about things that people disagree with, right? And again, they understood more than a lot of people that what you say matters, and they held people accountable for that. So.
Hey, thank you so much. I think it's safe to say you want everybody in the LGBTQ community in Tennessee to go out and vote in a couple of days?
Oh, absolutely. Voter turnout is up for Democrats for this primary season, which is great. But if you really want change and if you want to make an impact, you have to vote in every election. So Thursday is the primary election. Voting is like a muscle; you have to keep doing it. Thursday is to make it strong. Thursday is the primary, and then let's move on from there and unite together behind, our values, and then look forward to the November election.
Thank you so much. Hey, I'm Julie Chase. This is Out About Nashville.